Hello and welcome to Mitv Primetime News, coming to you live from our broadcast studio here in Lagos. I am Teresa Adeyemi. We'll begin the news tonight with the top stories. Nigeria, Ethiopia converse better, stronger leadership for Africa's growth. From the foreign scene, 5-year-old boy trapped in well in Morocco for 4 days dies. Sport. Liverpool advanced to 5th round of English FA Cup. Now the news in details. President Muhammad Buhari and Ethiopia Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed on Sunday said that African growth and development will require strong visionary leadership that caters to the needs of the people and effectively strengthen institutions that encourage peaceful coexistence while providing disincentive to conflict and coup. In a statement by the presidential media aide Femi Adesina, the two leaders came to agree on this during a meeting at the headquarters of the African Union in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. At the meeting between both leaders, President Buhari commended the effort of the Prime Minister in maintaining peace and unity in the country and dedication to ensuring fairness and justice in development. President Buhari urged the Ethiopian leader to stay focused on keeping the country together in spite of the difficulties, assuring that Nigeria will continue to support effort in peaceful coexistence and unity. The Prime Minister thanked the President for support to the country over the years on national and personal endeavors, particularly in encouraging unity and stability. Ahmed noted that the African continent had been slow in growth due to conflict, adding that the larger economies like Nigeria and Ethiopia should provide the leadership that will deepen progress and prosperity on the continent. Back here in Nigeria, Socio-Economic Right and Accountability Project (SEREP) has urged President Muhammad Buhari to use his good offices and leadership position to urgently review and rescind the reported approval for security agencies to access people's personal details via name-SIM linkage without due process of law. The appeal was contained in a letter dated February 5, 2022 and signed by the SEREP Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadare. The organization urged the President to send executive bills to the National Assembly to repeal and reform all laws which are inconsistent and incompatible with Nigerians' right to privacy, dignity and liberty. The development followed reports that some security agencies have received presidential approval to access people's personal details via the database of the National Identity Management Commission in the course of carrying out their duties. SEREP believes that the reported approval to allow security agencies to access people's personal details via name-SIM linkage without due process of law directly interferes with the privacy, dignity and liberty of individuals. It also believes that a failure to rescind the reported approval may cause millions of law-abiding Nigerians to feel that their private lives are the subject of constant surveillance. To politics, the support for the presidential ambition of the national leader of the All Progressive Congress (APC), Bola Ahmed Tinubu, appears to be growing by the day, following his declaration during a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari. The support is more pronounced in the southwest, where he began his political empire. This report by our correspondent Fatoki Kunle is presented from our studio.
After many years of speculation, the national leader of the All Progressive Congress (APC), Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, on the 10th of January 2022, declared his intention to run for the seat of president in the 2023 general elections. He informed President Muhammadu Buhari during a visit to the presidential villa.
All you want to hear is a categorical declaration. You've gotten that truth from me that I've informed Mr. President of my ambition.
Just as there was a clamor on the APC national leader to throw his heart into the ring before he informed the president of his ambition, the support appears to be growing louder in view of what his supporters called his antecedent since he became the Lagos State Governor in 1999.
Politics of 23 has begun. So, I mean, it's He's the leader of the party. He has all right to want to contest, to want to be the president of this country. He has paid his due. He has contributed immensely to development of democracy in Nigeria. I mean, was the brain behind the emergence of APC as a political party that dislodged the PDP in 2015. So, I mean, if he has it, he deserves it. So there's nothing bad about it. But it's still going to be a contest. Other aspirants are still going to come on board. And
to drive home their support, a coalition of support groups for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu organized a 1 million people walk in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital.
In support of Asiwaju, and today we are doing a march for Asiwaju, telling the whole Nigerians from the southwest, because Asiwaju is from the southwest. We're saying it is Asiwaju we want to be in Aso Rock in 2023.
He has built up capacities that has been able to leverage on the values that Nigeria is enjoying today. And as such, we believe that he should be given, and he will be given, that chance to rule this country come 2023.
Among contestants that the APC national leader will slug it out with for the ruling party's presidential ticket is the Ebonyi State Governor David Umahi, who also took a similar route by introducing himself and his ambition to President Muhammadu Buhari. Also joining the race is the former governor of Abia State, Senator Orji Uzor Kalu.
And of course, I told Mr. President that without prejudice to whatever will be the decision of the party, which we shall all abide by, that if the party throws the ticket open or the zone to southern part of Nigeria, that I believe that with what I put in place in the past 6 years plus, that I will be running for presidency.
Party zone the 2023 presidential ticket to Southeast. I told you before, I'm not a liar. It's only when the party zones it officially to the South. I told you before, the only two zones that have not been president, the Southeast and the Northeast. Once they zone it to any one of them, I have the capacity and the capability. And I will roll and I'll rock like hurricane.
However, Tinubu's supporters are not bothered by these two Easter politicians and others, making it clear the APC national leader has the experience and better understanding of the nation's political dynamics.
Good, you are not good. If you are good, you are good. You can't begin to bury a very good material and you think that is very, very, very down there as man of the masses, as a political strategist, as a boardroom member, and a talent hunter.
The APC chieftain believes that with his achievement as the then Lagos State governor, he has the capacity to lead Nigeria come 2023.
He's a Democrat. He didn't ask me to stop. He didn't ask me not to attempt and pursue my ambition. It's a lifelong ambition.
We're clamoring for more support for our national leader, His Excellency Dr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, come 2023, to be our president after President Muhammadu Buhari.
For now, it remains to be seen if Bola Ahmed Tinubu's political machinery is strong enough to propel him to clinch the APC presidential ticket to actualize his dream of being the president to Africa's most populous nation. But wait, we shall.
Meanwhile, the Rescue Nigeria Mission, a movement mobilizing for the emergence of Governor Yahaya Bello of Kogi State as Nigeria's next president, has held a town hall meeting with women and youth in Kano. The coordinator of the movement in Kano, Abdulamat Makwashewa, said the Kogi State governor had contributed immensely to the development of youth in Nigeria by drawing them closer to his government and instituting people-oriented policies for their benefit. Makwashewa said members of the group came up with the idea of queuing behind Governor Bello as presidential candidate, but no one beat his record currently in Nigeria. The Chief of Staff to the Kogi State Governor, Abdul Karim Jami, who was at the inauguration of the members, said Nigeria needed to breathe fresh air in the interest of the country and Nigerians at large.
Be active. Able to secure his state irrespective of the numerous boundaries. He has been able to terminate all forms of intercommunal crisis. This is a sign of a unifier. Don't forget, Kogi shares north, east, west, and south, all as neighbors.
Crude oil in Nigeria. Are we refining it in Nigeria? Are we waiting for God to come and build refinery for us? God give us these natural resources because he knows that at one point in life we will dearly need it. Crude oil is a resource today that our life, a commodity that our life depends on it directly or indirectly. A woman selling oppa or selling goro or even ayaba, plantain on the roadside, they need crude oil. Because you must enter vehicle from one point to another. If God gives us these natural resources, all we need ordinarily is leaders, and leaders that care that they have to build refinery in Nigeria that will refine it for the benefit of what? Common man on the street.
The Federal Ministry of Environment has disclosed efforts of government towards ends their programs and projects are being implemented to sustain and manage Nigerian ecosystem to provide solutions for climate change. The Minister of State for Environment, Sharon Ikazo, made this known while addressing journalists at the Ministerial Press Conference in Abuja. She lamented that Nigeria has been facing several environmental challenges from desertification in the north to flooding, coastal erosion in the south, and loss of biodiversity. Hence the need for strategic implementation of action plans to ameliorate the adverse impacts across the country. On circular economy, Ikazo stated that the ministry is taking proactive measures to promote and institutionalize practices to drive waste management sector to attract operators. She further stated that the ministry will continue to strive in achieving the set mandate.
This is for us to protect, restore, and sustainably manage Nigeria's ecosystems. For our ecosystems can provide more than a third of our climate change mitigation solutions. In conclusion, I would like to appreciate Mr. President for his exceptional display of leadership and concern for the future of the country by signing the climate change bill into law. The Federal Ministry of Environment will continue to strive in achieving our set mandates. Despite all challenges, we'll be repositioning our agencies for effective implementation of our policies, projects, and regulations.
Government across different levels in Nigeria have ventured to pay more attention on health technology and facility to allow health workers deliver effectively. This was the summation by lecturers and keynote speakers at an event by Health Technology held in Oru, Ijebu, Ogun State. A health lecturer at the Olabisi Onabanjo University, Samuel Adishino, said the opening up of private health institutions has assisted the government to increase the number of healthcare officials at the middle level, which has also affected positively those at the rural level. On his part, the provost of the institution, Oluwaseyi Adeware, said the government should make policies that will give room for experts to be discovered in health technology, while also appealing to the government to give grants and loans to health institutions. Adeware, however, admonished the matriculating students to make sure they focus on their education so they can be useful to the country's health sector and make meaningful impact.
Of private health institutions has assisted the government in a way, either directly or indirectly, to increase the number of healthcare officials at the middle level. And as such, the people at the rural level will now have access to healthcare, especially when it comes to human resource availability. Before now, you discover that the rural community dwellers find it difficult and have what I call geographical inaccessibility to healthcare services. It is a good thing that the number of health technologies are increasing, and I give kudos to government for giving approval.
Although there might be some policies now currently that are not assisting, for instance, the economic policy of Nigeria, and we will wish that the government can support institutions like this. There should be grants to support us, because in as much as the population of Nigeria keep increasing, we need more health workers that will meet the yearnings and aspirations of Nigeria. At least every state should have quotas beyond what we have now, because in as much as the population is growing, we will need more health workers. In 2, 3, 4 years' time, they will be useful to Nigeria at large. And I want us to tell them to shun legalism, shun cultism, know the reason why their parents are spending so much to send them for this training.
That's all from the local scene. We go on a quick break. When we come back, we bring you stories from the foreign scene. Please stay tuned. You're watching the Mitv Primetime News. Now to foreign report. A 5-year-old Moroccan boy who was trapped in a well for 4 days has died, despite painstaking effort to rescue him. The bid to free the boy, named as Rayan, had gripped the country, with hundreds of people gathered at the well and thousands more following online. The boy plunged 104 feet through the well's narrow opening. The rescue had been hampered by fears of a landslide. Rescuers finally brought the boy out of the well on Saturday evening. On social media, people using the hashtag #SaveRyan, which had been trending across the country and beyond, expressed their jubilation, but this turned to heartbreak minutes later when the statement came announcing that Rayan had died. U.S. officials says Russia has assembled about 70% of the military capability needed for a full-scale invasion of Ukraine in the coming weeks. The ground is expected to freeze and harden from mid-February, enabling Moscow to bring in more heavy equipment. Russia is said to have more than 100,000 troops near Ukraine's border, but denies planning to attack. The U.S. officials did not provide evidence for the assessment. The said information was based on intelligence, but that they were unable to give details due to its sensitivity. The officials also said they did not know if Russian President Vladimir Putin had decided to take such a step, adding that a diplomatic solution was still possible.
The global security and economic risks posed by further Russian aggression would be enormous, and they would have consequences not only on Ukraine, Europe, the transatlantic community, but on the PRC as well. If Russia thinks that it will be in a position to make up some of those consequences, to mitigate some of those consequences by a closer relationship with the PRC, that is not the case. It will actually make the Russian economy in many ways more brittle. If you look at, for example, where the major inputs to foundational technologies come from, they still come from the West. If you deny yourself the ability to transact with the West, to import with the West from Europe, from the United States, you are going to significantly degrade your productive capacity.
North Korea continued to develop its nuclear and ballistic missile programs during the past year, and cyber attacks on cryptocurrency exchanges were an important revenue source for Pyongyang. This was according to an excerpt of a confidential United Nations report, formerly known as the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. North Korea has long been banned from conducting nuclear tests and ballistic missile launches by the UN Security Council. Since 2006, North Korea has been subject to UN sanctions. The sanctions monitors noted that there had been a marked acceleration of missile testing by North Korea.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here today. This includes sanctions designations for those contributing to the DPRK's unlawful weapons program, like those the United States proposed last week. We also call on member states to implement Security Council resolutions to which the Security Council unanimously agreed, and which calls on the DPRK to abandon its weapons of mass destruction and ballistic missile programs in a complete, verifiable, and irreversible manner.
Thousands of people opposed to the vaccine mandate have rallied in cities across Canada as the mostly peaceful but noisy protests against COVID-19 restrictions spread from the national capital. Police said about 5,000 people demonstrated in Ottawa, while hundreds more gathered in Toronto, Canada's biggest city, as well as in Quebec City, Fredericton, and Winnipeg. The Freedom Convoy began as a movement against the Canadian vaccine requirement for cross-border truckers, but has turned into a rallying point against public health measures and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's government. Though it is responsible for few of the measures, most of which were put in place by provincial governments. And up next, the sport-related stories. Please stay with us. You're still watching Mitv Primetime News. Now to sports stories. Liverpool reached the 5th round of the FA Cup for only the second time in 7 seasons as they saw off a weakened but spirited Cardiff City, winning 3-1. The Marchand visitors dug into for straight Jurgen Klopp's men during a goalless first half in which they had an appeal for a penalty, rejected after McHarris fell under a challenge from Ibrahim Makunet. Liverpool eventually made their domination count in the second half as Diogo Jota headed in from Trent Alexander-Arnold's free kick. New signing Luis Diaz came on set up Takumi Minamo for the red second, before Harvey Elliott marked his return after 5 months out injured with an elegant swivel and finish. Substitute Ruben Colwell's powerful low drive gave Cardiff's large and noisy travelling supporters little reason to cheer with a consolatory goal. Talking basketball, LeBron James scored 29 points in his return from a knee injury as the Los Angeles Lakers rallied from a 21-point first-half deficit before beating the visiting New York Knicks 122-115 in overtime. Malik Monk also had 29 points and Anthony Davis added 28 as the Lakers won for just the second time in the last 6 games. James added 13 rebounds and 10 assists after missing 5 games with left knee swelling. Los Angeles went 1-4 in those games. The Knicks had just 13 points total in the third quarter. And in tennis, former U.S. Open champion Juan Martín del Potro said on Saturday his comeback next week after 2.5 years of injury is more a farewell than a return to tennis. Del Potro is set to announce his retirement after he plays at the Argentina Open in Buenos Aires, his first tournament since fracturing his kneecap in June 2019 at Queen's in London. The former world number 3 has undergone 4 surgeries on his knee for that injury, while slipping to 757 in the world ranking. The 33-year-old Del Potro, who beat Roger Federer in the 2009 U.S. Open final, said his knee troubles had him living a nightmare. And just before we end the primetime news tonight, a quick recap of our top stories. Nigeria, Ethiopia canvass better, stronger leadership for Africa's growth. From the foreign scene, 5-year-old boy trapped in well in Morocco for 4 days dies. Sport. Liverpool advanced to 5th round of English FA Cup. And with that is a wrap on the Primetime News tonight. From the entire news crew, I am Teresa Adeyemi. Do have a great night. Good night.